Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the broadcast. Well, a rather intriguing and interesting turn of events happened over the weekend where pro-Palestinian protesters were at the White House protesting what is going on in Israel and really standing in support of pro-Palestine and against the Jewish state of Israel. In fact, I'm going to show you footage of them chanting, we don't want a two-state, we want a 48. In other words, what that means is they want to go back to the war of 1948 where they were surrounded by Arab forces and they want to take it all to war. And basically, the elimination of Israel. And we're talking tens of thousands of people that went to the White House. And on top of it all, they vandalized it with red paint and even attempted to climb the fence. Yet, no surprise here, this was not called an insurrection whatsoever. No, that is reserved, unfortunately, for conservatives, Republicans, and Christians and Trump supporters. But I wanted to bring this to you because I think it's absolutely important in light of what's going on, especially with the avid rise in anti-Semitism in the United States of America that, by the way, really isn't being called out by the White House. They're focusing on anti-Islamic racism, which, hey, I'm against both. There should be no racism against, any race or creed or religion or color. Everybody is free to do what they want as long as they're not hurting anyone else. I believe we shouldn't have racism on any side in any place, but it's interesting that there's an absolute uptick in anti-Semitism, and then the White House focuses it on something altogether. Why not just do both sides evenly? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's dive into this. Take a look here. Because they're a screwed up White House. I guess let me take that back. The White House is screwed up. They don't give a crying. They don't give a shit, right, about anything, so no surprise. Anyway, here we go. Take a look here. FoxNews.com. Pro-Palestinian protesters seen shaking White House gate vandalized with red paint. F. Joe Biden. The White House fence was vandalized with red paint as protesters shook the gate to one of the entrances. And this was just published November 4th, but it goes on to state this. A White House fence was vandalized Saturday night with red paint as pro-Palestinian protesters shook the gate to one entrance to the executive mansion as some chanted F. Joe Biden, the New York Post reported. It goes on that later in the evening, protesters were seen attempting to climb up the White House wrought iron gates. The demonstrators also covered the General Marquis de Lafayette statue in nearby Lafayette Park with graffiti and Palestinian flags, according to social media posts. The protesters were rallying against the Biden administration's support of Israel in the war against Hamas. Some outside of the White House were heard chanting F. Joe Biden. It goes on that demonstrators dispersed from the area later that day, and as of now, as of the writing of this report, a Secret Service had made no arrest. Now, you can see the size of this crowd. Some are reporting tens of thousands of people and others are reporting thousands of people. But that's the monstrous amount of people that have literally ascended there on the White House. And here's just some pictures from that. And again, there are reports of them climbing gate, vandalizing statues, vandalizing the area there. In any aspect, obviously, they don't like what Joe Biden is doing right now, and that's beside the point. But either way, there's a lot of tension rising, especially in the United States. But what I found interesting is that Fox News did not report something that was said at that particular event where the pro-Palestinians were protesting. And I want to play a clip for you that I found on Twitter of what they actually were stating. Take a look at this on Twitter, posted by Julio. But here's what they're shouting. Take a listen. So you could very clearly hear, we don't want a two-state, we want a 48. In other words, they're calling for a revash of the 1948 war where you had the Arabs surround Israel in attempt to take it over. This is what they're calling for. And of course, Fox News, as conservative as they claim to be, doesn't really even say anything about this. They keep that off of their article altogether. Yet, as you can see in the video I just posted, they were clearly calling for that 1948 war all over again. And I don't know about you, but I don't want war whatsoever. I wish they could come up with a solution of some sort. And that just gets us into Bible prophecy, by the way. Hopefully, I know some of you know exactly what I'm talking about regarding that. But on top of it all, around that same time and right after the time Congress failed to censure Rashid Tlaib, she comes out and makes a very, what I'm going to call a genocidal statement. Take a look here, and Dan Bongino agrees, but here's Rashid Tlaib. She says, "From the river to the sea is an aspirational call for freedom, human rights, and peaceful coexistence, not death, destruction, or hate. My work and advocacy is always centered in justice and dignity for all people, no matter their faith or ethnicity." And Dan Bongino writes, he goes, "Nothing to see here, folks, just a U.S. congressional representative calling for Jewish genocide and mass murder." The problem is that term, from the river to the sea, is normally taken as they want the entire territory, not just Gaza, because you go from the river, you know, you've got the ocean to the sea, from the river to the sea, that includes all of Israel. So normally people take that as an implication that that means no Israeli existence. There is no, she's claiming that this is peaceful coexistence when what she's actually calling for, and this is what it's been dubbed to mean, is the entire country and nation of Israel belongs to all of Palestine. So this is a congressional leader, and of course, our leadership fails to censor her whatsoever. But on top of it all, it's just a really terrifying place. Like I said, they're going to the White House, they're committing acts of vandalism, but nothing. Nobody's in jail. Nobody's been gotten in trouble. Meanwhile, we have January 6ers that just walked on the freaking line, and that's it. And they're in prison, and they're going to jail, and they're being called by the FBI. I mean, this is just insanity. Meanwhile, by the way, just an update on what's going on with the war. Check out Daily Mail. Exclusive Iranian group puts up recruitment posters for suicide bombers willing to attack targets in Israel. I mean, that's downright chilling to the core. Iranian groups coming up and saying, hey, let's just find some people to strap a bomb, to your chest and go blow up cities that we don't like. I mean, this is insanity. Lord be with those people, because that is just chilling to the very core. But meanwhile, keep a heads up. Stay away from cities if you can. I think we're not sitting in a stable ground. Stay away from mega concerts, big stadiums, and all of that stuff, because you just never know. I think we're better to play it safe than sorry, especially in light of what's going on with the war. But with that, if you want to dive in, and I mean dive in to get the truth, because I'm limited here, I really am, get to restrictedrepublic.com. Use the coupon code Lisa and the number 5 to get it for $5 per month. This is an amazing deal, by the way, but we have exclusive content, commercial-free content that we post on there. We do live streams now and again, and there's a 14-day free trial that you can get on that as well. And by the way, I'm going to be posting a mega exclusive on there tomorrow, where I bring in a former Israeli citizen. She's got family there in Israel, and she talks about some of the things that are going on. That's going to be on Restricted Republic. But check it out at restrictedrepublic.com. Use that coupon code LisaH. Anyhow, thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.